think we're up to part 8 or nearabouts of the Rust Never Sleeps. Last time I got quite a bit done on the chassis and I was ready to start mounting the rear shocks, which I made a start on last weekend. As explained, I hung these under the axle here. I'll get down there so you can get a wee look in there on both sides. And from the top, see, you can get in there. So they are sitting behind the axle, so there will be no fouling. And the way that I did this, let me get sorted out, get some height there. So what I did here is I used the old rusty bike chain links again, and I got one linked on one hole on the axle and the other one linked on the other, and they go out, they triangulate and they hold the base of the shock. So that's a nice wee mount there, and this is what I'm using, rusty bike chain. It's so rusted up it's cooched, you know. So yeah, those links are handy, and it looks actually pretty cool in there, you know. I think that's a pretty swell job. So the next part is to, let me just sort this out quickly. So what I've got here is I've got the lower link below the axle. This gives me an upper link about here, which is about the same height as this tyre. So it's going to fit inside the rear of the Roadster, which is what I really wanted. I didn't want any shock towers sticking out of the body. It just ruined the lines. So this was just monkeying about in the hobby room, setting up these wee linkages like that. And then I thought about how I'm going to go about doing the shock mounts. Let's see if you can see my scribbles here. So what I'm going to do is put in 3 holes to make it adjustable, because I'm not too sure how things are going to sit once the weight is there. And the shocks will sit like that. So I've got a bit of square tube I've just cut out now to length, and I'll scallop out the bottom there to sit inside the C-section. So I got these ready to go. I'll drill 3 holes in there, 5mm apart, and they'll be the mounting point. Then I'm going to cut one side of the square tube out so it becomes like a deep C, and scallop the end, and that'll sit like that, and that'll sit in there. So let's pretend this bit of scrap C-section here has full wall sides. It'll sit in like that. So that's the next part. So that's what I'll be doing today. We'll get these set up and mounted. I don't think I'm going to do too much on the back just yet as far as cross members go. I've got some thoughts about that, and I might use sheet across here. I've got some batteries ordered and they're on the way. They're on a slow boat from China, so they'll be about 4 weeks. But I want to get all the electrics so I can get an idea of where things are going to sit, so I can figure out how to do this. I don't want to put cross members in here that are going to just get in my bloody way later. So what I'll do is I'll set up the shock mounts, then leave this and move on to putting cross members in this part of the chassis and work my way forward. So let's drill some holes in these, scallop them out, weld them on. so I've got these prefabricated. I'll see if I can get that up there for you. Hold on. Better light. So holes 5mm apart, they go straight through. The tube is cut off into a C with the holes going through, and scalloped at one end. So if you imagine this here's the chassis, it'll sit on there like that. So the next part will be to put this on the table and weld the uprights to the chassis. Let me just get you down here. What I'm doing is I've got the laser on again, and I'm just getting these set up so that they're square and in the right spot for their shot. So the laser's looking down, crosshair styles again. I've got the lasers lined up for the balls on the end here. So when they're square, they should be on the top of the ball joint there. So you can see on this one, it's centre here and there. So I just got to make sure they're pretty good. Tack them on, hopefully they don't move too much, and yeah, that should get that on there. And that should do the trick, man. And then I can adjust the height a little bit, pre-tension the shock as the weight goes on. So yeah, that little cheap Stanley $80 laser level, builder's level, stuck in the roof, pointing down. I recommend it. Handy thing. So righto, we'll set the camera up and we'll tack these on, and hopefully I don't bollocks it up. I've got these welded on here, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the flapper disc and take a bit off this edge here, because I think these are a wee bit too long and they're going to rub on the shock. As the leaf spring compresses, it's going to want to move that way, like that. So I want to clear an edge along here, make this a bit more narrow. So I'll hit that with the flapper disc now, and then I'll put it back together, see how it works. Okay, so there we go. It's one shock mounted. Well, actually both shocks actually. I haven't shimmed it or anything like that. It's temporary, but that looks like it's going to do the trick just nicely, eh? So yep, good. I think that'll work. Not bad for a homemade job. I might put stuff across here, but for now I'm going to leave that open until I know when my electrics are going to be in here. So now I've got my rear axle mounted fully, I will probably move on to doing this part here, putting some cross members in the floor here, the base of the chassis, move my way forward, think about motor mounts and things like that. So but I think that's enough for today's video. Getting a visit from the dog. So yeah, cheers for watching, guys. Slow progress but good progress, things are working out. So as always, share the playlist, and yeah, catch us next time.